The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history.
In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing.
The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today as, oh boy, this isn't good news. From Jeremy Hogan, Library fought the good fight but lost to the SEC at summary judgment. The judge hung his hat largely on the fact that there was essentially no use for the tokens at the time of the sales. I would expect this case to make its way into the SEC's final brief in the Ripple case. The court found that Library offered the Library Credits token as a security, and the fair notice defense has failed in this instance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big reason why Library got sued by the SEC. They were targeted as a weaker opponent to set precedent for bigger cases. And this is something they can use in the Ripple vs. SEC case. This, in my opinion, is a massive blow to Ripple. However, due to the difference in facts and situations, I do think Ripple still has the overall advantage. However, this is what I'm going to say. If there's one thing I truly do believe, is that this may be a catalyst for getting a settlement rapidly worked out and on the table by Ripple. Something I want to tell all of you is as well. Every single one of us needs to understand that there will not be a clear winner or loser of this case. Decisions will be made. And the best thing that can happen for us as retail investors is that future sales of XRP do not constitute a security. That is the best case scenario, and we all need to understand this. However, what this does mean is that this is a major blow to the rest of the crypto industry. This will set a precedent, and lawsuits will be flying left and right. In my personal opinion, what we are going to see is XRP get some form of clarity, be done with the SEC, and then they're going to go after the entire industry. Actually, something you should all know as well is this from John Deaton. This is the moment the entire crypto industry realized the SEC has gone rogue. And I am extremely excited that the SEC woke up the dormant beast in crypto investors. Please take a listen.
I think the pivotal point for the community is, in fact, when Gary Gensler would not say Ethereum is not a security. Let's just all be honest about it, right? That's how I look at it. And when he said proof of stake, the merge, implicated the securities laws in the United States, and he was only comfortable saying Bitcoin's a commodity, that's when everybody said, oh, okay, this really is a war on all of crypto, and therefore we have to fight it.
Oh, karma's really a bitch now, isn't it, guys? The XRP army had warned since December 2020, when this lawsuit was filed against Ripple, that this was an attack on the entire crypto industry. What happened? The Bitcoin maxis laughed. The Ethereum community laughed. Nobody cared. The overall crypto industry did not give a damn. The majority of cryptos and NFTs went on a bull run, while XRP wavered. Now, all of a sudden, crypto investors care. No mercy. I don't care. I actually, as an XRP investor, hope a lot of these major cryptos get sued. At the same time, XRP is getting clarity, because what can happen at that point is that XRP profits can be rotated into cryptos that are suffering when XRP has been given freedom. That's something a lot of you may not think about, but I think about it every day. While XRP is going to be given the freedom to reign free, the rest of the crypto market may go through some turmoil. Now, while that may sound doom and gloom, we have to understand that crypto firms are stepping up campaign donations and lobbying efforts ahead of midterm elections, and this is extremely important. The more lobby groups we have in crypto, the more politicians will give favorable regulations. The crypto industry has to unite and pay off these regulators, because that is simply the name of the game. And now, we're going to pivot our attention to one of the most important things that all of you need to be made aware of. And I cannot continue as an overall XRP content creator without warning you about how serious this situation is. Let me give you guys some context. Over the past 11 months, we've experienced a harsh crypto bear market. We've experienced the macro get disgusting. We've experienced plenty of altcoins go down 90% in value. A big part of the reason was because in May, Terra Luna imploded, UST imploded, and that sent a ripple effect. Bankruptcies of Celsius, Voyager, 3 Arrows ensued. That was just because of Terra Luna and some smaller exchanges. Now, we have a very serious problem. Binance has stated they have exited from FTX equity last year, and they recovered roughly $2 billion in Binance USD and FTT, the FTX token. But due to recent revelations that came to his attention, they've decided to liquidate FTX tokens from their books. They said they're going to do this in a way to minimize market impact. And due to market conditions and limited liquidity, we expect this to take a few months to complete. Binance always encourages collaboration between industry players. Regarding any speculation as to whether this is a move against a competitor, it's not. The industry is in a nascent state, and every time a project publicly fails, it hurts every user and platform. We typically hold tokens for the long term, and we have held this for the long term as well. CZ Binance later goes on to state liquidating our FTX tokens is just post-exit risk management, learning from Luna. We gave support before, but we won't pretend to make love after divorce. We are not against anyone, but we won't support people who lobby against other industry players behind their backs. This is important. And I'm going to tell all of you that there is systemic risk in the crypto market right now. Crypto Mason has stated 93% of the FTX token supply is held by top addresses. Ki Young Ju states FTX's stablecoin reserves just reached a year low, down 93% over the past 2 weeks. What all of you need to understand is, I do not think FTX will fail. I think they are too deeply ingrained into the traditional system. They're sponsors of Major League Baseball, the NBA. You see FTX everywhere. And they were also the second largest donors to the Joe Biden campaign and administration. That is important. However, if FTX does fail, that could send crypto into a downward spiral. 50% crashes across the board. No questions asked. That's what's going to happen. Now, let me make my words very clear. I do not expect FTX to fail, and I do not expect this scenario to take place. But two things just happened. Library lost against the SEC just now, and FTX is having all this smoke come out around them. That is not good in any way, shape, or form. And it is a problem that we have to take into account. My biggest regret and my biggest mistake as a crypto content creator and someone you guys look up to is that I did not have any way of knowing that the Terra UST crash was going to happen. There were no initial signs or indications that that was coming. But you better believe that I'm going to warn every single one of you of the systemic threat to crypto that could come with SEC lawsuits from this decision, as well as FTX potentially failing. All I'm doing is priming your minds for something that may come out of nowhere. Just expect the unexpected, as we're in turbulent waters. Now, despite the fact that I told you two things that are extremely risky for the crypto market, I have to stress, the charts indicate to me that the altcoin market still is ready for a rally, and I do believe that. However, we have things to consider. What's very frustrating for me is that typically, if we were in a regulated industry, I'd tell you, hey guys, business as usual. Just put some stop losses on your cryptos and you'll be ready to go. But the issue is that because we're in an unregulated market, I do not trust these exchanges. Look at what happened to Celsius and Celsius holders. Boom. Money stolen. Locked in. Insolvency. I don't want that to happen again. Therefore, you must custody your own digital assets on your offline hardware wallets, and I can't stress this enough. Any crypto you have on exchanges is open to confiscation and to be stolen. Remember that at every single given moment. It's us against them, and we have to take control of all of our assets and understand the dangers that exist in this market. Now, with that being said, guys, I need to give you a slightly better and more positive tune to cap off this video for today. Now, guys, I want you all to listen to this important clip from Caroline Pham, the CFTC commissioner, who, remember, did meet up with Brad Garlinghouse the other day. And I did like what she had to say. Please take a listen.
We simply can't fail to act any longer to put into place protections for the retail public, and again, to ensure that there's market integrity and to prevent fraud, manipulation, and abuse. So the CFTC has a long track record of retail protection, but should we get additional authorities over crypto spot markets, then I think an Office of the Retail Advocate to really ensure that there's a voice for the public in this environment and with these risks is there.
The SEC, the CFTC can't agree on how it should be regulated, whether crypto assets are securities or commodities. I mean, how do you get to regulation when you can't agree?
So I think that the U.S. regulators, and let's be honest, there's many of them, right? So other countries have a single peak or twin peaks model. I like to say in the United States, we have a whole mountain range because we have several federal financial regulators, and that's not even counting all the state regulators. But there is, again, a long track record of the CFTC and the SEC working closely together over markets, over financial markets. So I feel confident and hopeful that we will be able to work this out, just as we've worked out many other tough jurisdictional questions in the past.
Is there a sense perhaps like Bitcoin, Ether would be considered commodities, and perhaps most other digital currencies would be seen as securities?
I tend to think that in the near term that you might see some of that clarity through the courts. There are a number of court cases that are working their way through the system right now that do touch upon this really important product definitional question.
Should there be a ban on retail investors in the crypto space, you think?
Oh, I think a ban is not, that's pretty anti-American. I do believe in free markets. I believe in innovation. And I really think that we have to just make sure that there's the right protections in place. So from a customer protection perspective, I've said that we need to have education, suitability requirements, disclosure requirements. But these are all very familiar concepts. We just need to make sure that those apply and compressed version of the history of money. When I look at the crypto sector, what I think is happening is this accelerated and compressed version of the history of money. I mean, we've gone from public money to private money to a barter economy to commodification, financialization, globalization, opening up access to new markets and additional liquidity through electronification, and now digitalization. Each of those developments, there's been a regulatory response.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that should have gotten you extremely excited, as I believe there's a very real possibility that the CFTC gains quite a bit of power over the SEC and could be quite a better regulator for the crypto industry. I believe Caroline Pham, everything she stated, including the banning of retail investors from the crypto industry being anti-American, is something good to hear. It definitely feels more promising than what Gary Gensler has been trying to do. And something I'll say to all of you is, we're definitely seeing things ramp up at an accelerated rate. With midterms tomorrow, with a new Congress coming shortly after, with policies and policy decisions going to be made, I believe we in the crypto industry are going to find out very soon exactly where everything and all the dominoes are going to fall. With the regulations will come spigots of capital. Trillions of dollars will flood into this market. And that is when our generational wealth from XRP and utility tokens will come. You don't believe it? It's still true. And keep your eyes glued to the screen every single day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to cap off this video, I'm going to leave you with this clip from Belt and Road as to what I believe is going to be the final steps into implementing this new currency system. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
We're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one.
There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it.
Frankly, our central bank has been slow, and there's an appointment coming in January of 22. The president's got to decide whether to change over who's leading the Federal Reserve.
For those of you who don't know, the next-gen $100 note is the last denomination of that particular family of notes. We're working on the future generation of currency, so that is my other job.
I think the train's already left the station in terms of cryptocurrency. You may or may not know that I just joined the board of Ripple, and the reason why I chose to join that board, it's, in my opinion, one of the few cryptocurrency options out there that has a credible and legitimate use. So financial institutions use it to settle cross-border payments.
That is called a bridge crypto or bridge currency. That's in fact what Ripple is trying to do with XRP.
World taxation and one world money. They've worked for years behind the scenes preparing to realize that vision. They've literally rigged the laws of international finance. Everything is basically in place right now, and there's essentially no way to stop this from happening.
There are some cryptos that are working with regulators and are working with banks.
I agree.
Ripple would be an example.
Ripple would
XRP.
be an example, right.
Now this is and I can imagine in the next 5 years, instead of us doing sterling against the dollar or sterling against yen and doing these kinds of transactions, we'll do sterling versus Ripple.